Good morning. Good day. Hey, welcome to the Christel Crawford Show. I'm Christel Crawford. And I called this week's show Tools to Use When You're Freaking Out About Money. Because guess how I woke up this morning? Freaking out about money. Here's the gift, though, of being a facilitator and knowing what I know about awareness is that I have enough times woken up freaking out about things, hi Deanne, to know that when I'm freaking out, it's somebody else's, it's not mine. So that is going to be part of our tool spectrum today of things that you can use when you are freaking out about money. So I'll just go back there. So I woke up and I got some... So on point. Yes, I had a feeling. So I was going to talk today about something sort of related and totally different, and I completely changed the topic because of how I woke up this morning. Hi, Jamie Joy. Hi, Heidi. And if you guys know anybody else in your life that might get something out of a Facebook Live with tools to use when you're freaking out about money, go ahead and share this. We'll torture everybody with this. Hi, Hannah. So, I'm finally out of the point of view that I have to have it all together to be a facilitator. I am using the tools, guys, to create my life. And I think that's what makes all of us such epic facilitators of anything, is what it is that we use in our own lives. And this morning I woke up and I got a message from somebody. And basically what the message was it was a sum of money that I had forgotten that I needed to pay, coming out of a thing that I was expecting to use for something else. And so all of a sudden, in my mind, I had a money problem. Now, I don't have a money problem, but all of a sudden I had a money problem. And it was so wild how quick my mind started trying to create a solution to it. So one of the first tools that I want to give you when you are freaking out about money is to make yourself really, really, really big. Because one of your first tendencies is going to be to go into your head. Anybody do that around money? Go into your head and freak out. Now, the only way you can freak out is if you are in your head. You can't freak out if you're not in your head. So how do you get really, really big? So close your eyes with me 1 second. And I want you to go out into the room, then go out beyond the house, and go out 100 miles beyond that, and 100,000 miles beyond that, and 100,000 miles beyond that, and 1,000,000 miles beyond that, until you're down into the earth and beyond the earth, and 100,000,000 miles beyond that. Now, why is that a tool? Why is that a tool? Because you can't actually create something different from the small little universe of your mind. You cannot do it from there. The only place that you can begin to create and generate something different is from you as an infinite being. Now, for you to freak out about money, for me to freak out about money, I have to be making myself very, very finite. I have to be making myself very, very limited. And you know what? I've been really good at it over the years. I had a lot of really good examples in my family. I don't know about you. So that's a really, really kind of comfortable place to be. But what's really, really true about you is something really different. What you're capable of choosing is something really different. And so the tools that I'm going to give you are going to sort of take a three-pronged approach. When you're freaking out about money, first thing, you need to make yourself really, really, really big. And just stay there. And if you need to keep closing your eyes and make yourself really, really big, just keep doing that. From there, the question is, what else is possible here that I haven't considered? What other sources of money are there that I can ask for and create and generate right now that I haven't considered? Now that is a very, very simple question. That's very simple, and that's why I'm hoping you'll remember it. Because the truth is that when you get curious about what else is possible, then what else is possible can start to show up, okay? So begin with changing the space from which you're functioning. Now that also might, I'm going to say changing the space from which you're functioning might require getting your bars run. It might require making yourself really, really big. It might require walking outside, but whatever choice you need to make to tap into a different space, choose that first. Then ask yourself, what else is possible here that I haven't even considered? And then this is what I'm doing with myself to change money completely again, is I'm really looking at the only time you can have a money problem or you can freak out about money is if you hate money. If you hate money, if you vilify money, or if you reject money. So the only time a money problem can actually show up is if you've created the future that you're now in where you didn't look at it before. Do you know what I mean? So like you're in the future right now, that wherever you were before, you created yourself here. And so there was something that you were aware of and doing with that you are not letting yourself be aware of. So like I'm having a future right now that I created way back then, that now I get to choose something different for the future that I will be in. How's that for English, okay? So we're constantly creating. And if you want to have a different future and not wake up in the morning and freak out about money, then something different of you is required. Now, I'm going to skip to official tool number 2, which is that so you can only freak out about money if you hate it. The second thing is that everybody freaks out about money. So hold on, Julia, I'll get to your question. So everybody freaks out about money. And if you don't acknowledge that you're aware, then you're tapping into a whole universe of everybody else's points of view about money that you're not acknowledging, or everybody else's. So this was the other tool that I used today, really dynamically, because sometimes it's really, really easy to go, yeah, I'm having a thought, I'm having a feeling, who does this belong to? It lightens up. No, Simon, and I'll talk about that. Sometimes I have so much going through my head, it's like a hurricane of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You guys ever have that? Where it's just like blah, 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 right? That I have to literally go stop for a second, like in my own world. Just stop. Who does all of this belong to? Does it belong to me? Or does it belong to someone else? And it was instantly someone else. And here's how you know with that question if it's working. Is if when you get to it's someone else's, it actually lightens up. Like it lightens up. And all of these tools, by the way, are the pre-tools to creating and generating and choosing and having more money. So now we're still in the phase of the process where you're in the freak out, we're changing the freak out, right? Because you can't actually create and generate money from freak out. That's a very, very important piece of information. You cannot create and generate money from freak out. Why? Because if you're freaking out, what is your basic point of view when you're freaking out? That there's lack and that you need. And I am just about to do a call on projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections as a whole, but also in regards to money. And when you expect, so the need of money is an expectation. In fact, I'm going to read this to you real quick, okay? Julia just read this the other day, and it was so good. Blah. So when you're freaking out, you're functioning. Hi, Krista. Hi, Simon. So when you're freaking out, you're functioning from an expectation of the need of money. Well, guess what happens when you project and expect anything? You create separation, judgment, and rejection of you. So this is so huge. I will find it. I am finding it because I want to read it to you. So the expectation that you need to make money. Okay, so let's say you wake up in the morning and you're freaking out about money. Or you just get off of this live and you're freaking out about money. So somebody, call participant, said, this area about money is very important to me. And Gary goes, that's an expectation, that's not a question. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Christiane. The basic point of view is, here's the basic point of view we have about money. So if I desire it hard enough and long enough, it will come to fruition. I cannot tell you how many people I facilitate in money classes that are like, but I like money. I've been asking for money. I've been pulling money. If I desire it long enough and hard enough, it will come to fruition. That's an expectation of money. You have the expectation that you need to make money. And he goes, yes. And that kind of sounds weird. Like, of course. Hi, Kathy. And Gary goes, how many of you have the projection and the expectation that you need to make money? Not that you would like to make money, not that you can make money, not that you're going to do everything that you can to make money, but I need to have money, therefore, blah, 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 blah. So, everything that is, times a godzillion, will you destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So, this is official tool number 3 of all of the projections and expectations that I'm using to separate, judge, and reject me and money, I destroy and uncreate all those. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. All of the projections and expectations that I need money, I destroy and uncreate all those. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And here, somebody asks an opposite question, and they go, well, I have a question about the reverse of that, that I don't expect that I need money because I already have money, but then I want more money and then the money doesn't come. So what is that? It feels very twisted and bent. And Gary said, you've got a projection and expectation that money will come because you like it. Now, y'all, this is where I've been functioning from for at least the last 4 months. I'm here to own it. I've got the projection and expectation that money should come into my life because I like it. I like money. I have some money. I like money. For what reason would money not show up for me? Now, have I made a demand of myself? No. Do I have any interest in making a demand of myself? Well, I haven't until today. Have I done it before? Yeah, so I know what that's like. And then I decided a bunch of things, and then I stopped doing that, and I was doing something else. And so guess what stops showing up when the demand goes away? Money. But let me get to that. So Gary said, you've got a projection and an expectation that money will come because you like it. And Gary says, I don't have the projection and expectation that money will come because I like it. I make a demand. I ask, what's it going to take to create all this money because I like it and I'm going to have it. You haven't made a demand of yourself that you will have it no matter what it takes. That is official tool number 4 of making a demand of yourself that you're going to create it and have it because you like it and you're going to have it no matter what it takes, no matter what you have to do, no matter who you have to blow, no matter what you have to show up as, do it. Money makes you greedy, money gives you freedom. So a lot of you are putting in here points of view about money. And this topic is massive, which is why I'm doing a 10-month thing, but it's like, so official tool number 5 or 6, wherever we're at, is like, hey, what do I hate about money? What do I hate about money? I hate that I always need it. I hate that it makes me greedy. I hate that I can't ever have enough. I hate that, like, what are all the things that come up for you there? I hate that we even have to keep having this conversation. I hate that I have to keep creating and generating more. I hate that I can't just live on the street. I wish I were happy living on the street. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy it and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And so to kind of wrap into a little bundle, tools probably 3 through 5, is you got to get really, really present with where you're really, really functioning from. If you don't get present with where you're functioning from, you can't change this, okay? You got to get present with where you're functioning from. And so I've been really looking at projections and expectations because this has been a thing forever. Like, it's also like once you clear out a projection and an expectation, you have so much space and freedom and peace and choice. So I was like, okay, so like, what's it gonna, so am I functioning from the projection and the expectation of money rather than the choice? Like, yes! Okay, so all the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections that I'm using to create that, I destroy and uncreate all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And tool number 6 or 7 or wherever we're at is choose. You gotta choose. You have to make a demand of you that no matter what it takes, you're gonna change it, that you're gonna create it. Now, there is generation, creation, and institution are 3 different elements that you need for the creation of anything. You've got to be willing to be the generative energy. Be the generative energy of what it is that you desire. Now, it's combined in with this first thing, being the energy of what you desire, you got to be really clear on what you desire. Guess why we tell you to go through your expenses for the last 3 to 6 months and actually get clear on what it really truly costs you to live? Guess why? Because you got to know that number. The second number you got to know is what it is you want to add to your life, add to your monthly expenses. If you want to be traveling to classes, if you want to be traveling at all, if you want to be having more new clothes and comfy comforters and a bigger and more beautiful house, if you want to be contributing to a video project or a building that's going to hold space, you know, be a space for workshops, whatever that is, you got to know what those numbers are. You got to be willing to engage with your reality. This thing about engagement is really, really, really huge, but it starts with you, engaging with the parts of you that are currently functioning from shitty places, engaging from the reality that you've created now, and also engaging with what it is that you want to ask for. So again, with the creation of anything, money, your life, business, a relationship, is you got to be willing to be the generative energy. You got to be willing to create, which is the actualization of something. And you've got to be willing to institute, which is the maintaining and the nurturing energy that keeps it moving forward. So how many of you guys will like generate and create for a minute and then give up on the institution of money? We hate maintaining things. We're humanoids. If you don't know what a humanoid is, message me, I'll tell you. So everything that is times a godzillion, where you destroy it and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. What if you could today begin generating, creating, and instituting a very, very different future for yourself right in this moment? And tool number 8 is that you have a new choice in every 10 seconds, meaning it doesn't matter how you got here. You notice none of these tools are like, why am I so fucked up about money? Why do I keep having this conversation? That's not one of the tools. In fact, that's the thing you want to avoid. Just don't go to the why. Just destroy it and create that desire altogether. It is not helpful to know why you're here. You're here, because you chose it, because you're here. That's it. Now, what can I create now? Who does any of this belong to? What can I create now? If I were being me right now, what would I be capable of? But I don't want to be too aggressive or violent or use any force, and I want to create from question and choice and possibility, and I don't really know how to do that, so I can't do that. Interesting point of view. I have my point of view. This point of view, is it even mine? No. So if there were no right and there were no wrong, what am I actually capable of that I haven't yet chosen? Tool number 52. This live is going to have 52 tools in it like normal. Hi Simone, hi Alina. Okay, so thing number 1 is really expand out your space. Be different. Choose a different space to be from. Tool number 2 is, what choices do I actually have here that I haven't yet chosen? Tool number 3 is everything else that I said, like who does this even belong to? What do I hate about money? And what the hell am I capable of that I haven't yet chosen? Okay, you can't create, you cannot generate. So the 3 elements for creation of generation, creation, and institution. Hi Aurelia, hi Heidi. If you're trying to generate from freak out, you're going to generate more of that. So if you're being lack, if you're being need, if you're being the expectation of money, if you're being the projection of money, you're going to generate more of that. So you're already being a generative energy as freak out. So that's the thing to change is, okay, so I'm going to get really clear on what I actually need here. What do I actually need to live? What do I actually need I need this is my desire. And what generative energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to have at least that every month with total ease? Start being that energy. But that's going to take some practice. Then you're creating. So creating is the actualization of that, of like, what can I choose today that's going to make this show up right away? Roughly. And then the institution is the maintaining of it. So it's the continuing to nurture what it is that you're creating in the world. And that is this ongoing showing up for yourself, engaging with yourself, showing up for yourself, engaging with yourself. Anytime I go to freak out, I have left the party somewhere and then I'll get a wake-up call. And then I'm like, my life! My life's on the line! That's the only time I ever freak out. So have you left your life and not acknowledged it? And everything that doesn't allow you to acknowledge it, will you destroy it and create all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, men. It'll be like this beyond of like, your life's calling. I'm like, and then, so in that moment of like, I don't want to, life, I don't want to talk to you right now, what, you know? You then also tap into the freak out of 52 billion other people. So then it feels really big and feels very real. But all of these tools are to invite you to what's actually real about you, which is that you're capable, that you can, that you got this, and that you have other choices available besides the expectation and the freak out of money. So if you guys are just joining me, you got to go back and watch the beginning because there's a lot of good stuff there. I can't go back through it. What do I love about spending money? What would it take to love having money? And how much do you already have that you haven't acknowledged? There's so much here. So, I don't know if I have a sum up to this. I just want to invite you to move beyond the freak out, and to every single time that you go to freaking out about money, just watch this video and share this with your friends. And if you want more on this, if you'd actually like to bring your thing into a call, I'm going to do a call and you can just watch for it. It'll be out on Facebook here shortly in the next probably 2 hours, where we're really going to dive into the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections thing, because I can't tell you how much of this book that I've read where I'm like, Jesus, I'm doing that, and I'm doing that, and I'm doing that. And when you do that, you have to separate, judge, and reject you, which means you're separating, judging, and rejecting from the one resource that can change this for you. You! You're your best resource. That's why these tools, because we cut ourselves off from ourselves by judging ourselves. Like, freaking out is judging yourself. Feeling stupid about where you are is judging yourself. Worrying about money is judging yourself. Needing money is judging yourself. You cut yourself off from you when you do all that. And I do it, I'm constantly bringing myself back to a different possibility with all of these tools, and that's what these do. They actually empower you to bring yourself back to a different possibility so that you can create something different if you'd like to. End scene. Let's torture the world with this video, everybody. What would it be like to really create a reality beyond this reality with your finances this year? What would it be like to really engage and show up for you, with you, in a really, really different way? And everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy it and create all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, on the insurance, boys and mans. You're so welcome. I'm so grateful for you. If you aren't yet joining me and playing with me in my awareness challenge group, just search the awareness challenge, How Aware Are You group. It's free. There's weekly challenges. We are kicking ass in there right now. And if you want more of this, just, just keep your eyes peeled. I adore you.